For over 100 years, Canada has developed a reputation for just one cheese, cheddar. But all that's starting to change. Dozens of new artisan cheesemakers are now making an exciting range of cheeses from cow, goat, and even ewe's milk. And it's all starting in a province where most people speak French. Welcome to Quebec. I've travelled here to discover how its close historical ties with France have influenced a renaissance in specialist cheese. Ask anyone who's visited this beautiful region and they'll tell you that the Quebecois are quite different to their fellow Canadians. They passionately identify with their French heritage, and whilst they're closely divided on whether to separate from the rest of the country, they insist on speaking their own special version of French. 400 years ago, the unexplored wilderness of North America presented a challenging new frontier for European explorers. In 1608, a small strategic trading settlement was established on the banks of the St. Lawrence River by Frenchman Samuel de Champlain, and several years later he introduced French cows to the region. I was keen to know if there was any cheese left from those earlier times. My first port of call was the Ile-aux-Grues, a 20-minute drive from the city, where a small dairy have revived a 17th century cheese recipe. So tell me, this is the first cheese in America, yes?
Yes, this is the oldest cheese. This is this one.
People began to make this cheese on the island in 1635 on the island, and they make it in the past in their home. All the time they make it in their home. You are here in the first cheese dairy on the island, because we have relaunched this cheese. It was disappeared of the island for 40 years now. This is the first cheese, like I said to you. You have to cook it because it's better. It's better when it's hot.
Can I have a taste?
Certainly.
What do you think it tastes like?
You will tell me.
A little bit squeaky.
Squeaky?
A little squeaky. Salty.
Salty, perhaps.
And very nice.
We suggest to take it like appetizer. You could take it many manners.
Apparently this cheese dates back to 1635 and was originally introduced to Quebec City Farmers Market by a French cheesemaker called Anne Aubin. It was once made on farms all over the island, but disappeared in the 1970s before being recreated by Le Fromage d'Ile-d'Orléans. And legend has it that it was once served pan-fried and drizzled with maple syrup. One of the most respected cheddars produced in Quebec comes from a small island some 80 miles further down the river. And to help me understand more about the changes in cheesemaking in this part of Canada, I've enlisted the help of local expert Jean Eganou.
Tell me about the farmer. The farm, well, it's a cooperative, in fact. I don't really know how many farms, but it's all the farmers on the island, and the milk is only from the island too. They make raw milk cheddars as well as a raw milk brie type called the Rio-Pale. They're really known for their special milk too, because some of the cows actually feed on like salty and the salt marshes, and so it gives a special flavor to the cheeses. And it's the first time I've been here too, so it's a really exciting moment.
Despite its isolation, there's something hauntingly beautiful about the Ile-aux-Grues. It was once a quarantine station, and the early Irish settlers grew potatoes here before they realised that the green, fertile pastures were better suited to dairy farming.
So, ouais, c'est ça. Il y en a combien de fermiers ici?
On est 6, il y a 6 fermes. 6 fermes, il y en a 5 qui font partie de la coopérative.
Okay, il y en a une indépendante. There's 6 farmers on this island, and there's 5 that are part of the co-op and 1 independent.
We have the pasture here. That's one of the reasons why people come here, because it was plain and there was no tree, and cow can go to eat without a lot of work. At this time it was very convenient. We milk about 45 cows. I would say 1,000 pounds of milk a day.
In this part of the world, it's very rare to see cows living outside. Instead, they live in big, comfortable sheds. The farmer brings them a selected feed: corn, dried hay, barley, silage, and by controlling the feed, they control the quality of the milk. The small farmers' cooperative have built an enviable reputation for aged block cheddar made from raw milk. But I've come here to look at an exciting new range of surface-ripened cheeses. Why don't you tell me about these cheeses? Which is this one here?
Riopelle.
Yeah.
Riopelle de Lille, c'est un fromage à croûte fleurie.
Yeah, yeah.
OK, triple crème.
Yeah.
Et surtout, on a tout fait ce fromage-là en l'honneur du peintre Jean-Paul Riopelle.
So it's a triple cream brie. It's,
Yeah.
it's a bloomy rind, and it was done in the honor of the local painter Riopelle on this island. First, the ripened cheeses that the cooperative started. They made the name is in honor of the festival they have on this island. It's called Mi-Carême. Carême is Lent. And Mi-Carême is in the middle of Lent. So I guess somebody's breaking Lent, right? Way water.
And what's this last one?
The last one.
Ça, c'est assez spécial. C'est le tome de Gros-Cil, qui, lui, est fait sur une pâte semi-ferme.
Ah,
Okay, it's a Tom semi-firm cow cheese, which I passed.
And what's the story of the cross on the label?
It's very interesting because each one of these has a very unique history on the island. This one is made because at one point this was a quarantine island for Irish immigrants that came in. This is an Irish monument to the people that died there and came there and lived here and then went on to immigrate to the rest of Quebec. And same time, this is also the cheese made with that one herd that just eats on marsh grasses.
It's got a really lovely
really
rounded
unique
flavour, yeah.
So it's made with that.
This part of North America was originally claimed by the French crown and known as New France. But the English had other ideas. The French represented a threat to their American colonies further south. And for the next 150 years, the politics of the Old World dominated who would govern the region, and the walled city of Quebec played a pivotal role. And it was here, on the Plains of Abraham in 1759, that the future of New France was decided. After a month-long siege, the English forces surprised the French. The battle that followed lasted just 20 minutes, and both commanders were killed. It also led to the Treaty of Paris and the future of British rule in Canada. The English and French-speaking Canadians shared the city, making it the capital of Lower Canada. But in the 1960s, it was replaced by Toronto due to concerns over the growing separatist movement. And today, it's become a symbol of French Canada and serves as the capital of the province. John's next recommendation was a small artisan dairy established in 2002 near the village of Saint-Anne, which now produces a variety of delicious goat cheeses.
So today on this fresh cheese, I only return the cheese and we put a salt on the cheese.
Okay. Tell me, how long have you been making cheese for?
6 years. I started with only me on the kitchen. I start to produce my cheese like that, and you have lots of contact in France. And some friends of me come from in Quebec to learn to me how to produce a goat cheese.
The dairy uses only fresh milk from the farm's pampered herd of 35 goats. And believe it or not, Eric sometimes entertains them with his accordion.
Each of my goats have a name, like Titi, like Porcelaine, Ophelia, on a aussi Guédoune. We call the goats with her personality. Eh? The goats go outside to eat in my garden. It's not it's not the good thing.
Eric is obviously driven by a great passion for producing interesting cheese. But I am beginning to wonder about John. Back on Route 40, he's very keen to stop at a roadside diner and then proudly introduces me to a local cheese dish. This is a classic French-Canadian dish, and it's called poutine, and it consists of chips, fresh curd and gravy. You find it everywhere. And that's what it tastes like. Well, I think I'll leave that to your imagination. Our next scheduled stop was another small goat cheese dairy, which makes a variety of cheeses, including fresh curds.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va bien?
Oui, très bien. Vous parlez anglais?
A little bit, yes.
Fantastic. Now, you've got some goat cheese, I can see.
I have.
Yeah.
We have about 15 kinds of cheese here. It's all made here on the farm. We have 100 goats, actually.
100 goats. And so they're all milked on the farm?
They're all, actually it's twice a day. It's 300 days a year.
So you get a few days off.
Yeah, but we make the cheese curds here from goat milk.
Yeah, fresh curds.
Warm one.
Ah, yeah.
A little different than with the cow milk. Tastes a little bit.
Well, quite salty. Yeah, just lovely. Actually, I like that. You don't really like the chips and the gravy bit, but this is good.
The story of Quebec's oldest surviving blue cheese begins here, some 130 kilometres south of Montreal, on the border with the United States. In 1912, 3 monks arrived here from France and established a monastery, and today it produces more than a dozen cheeses, including the now famous Blue Hermitage. The impressive abbey of Saint-Benoît-de-Lac was built overlooking the tranquil shores of Lake Memphremagog. These days, it's home to more than 50 monks. And despite being open to tourists, it retains a wonderfully calm, spiritual atmosphere. But I've come here to learn more about the cheese.
The cheese making begin in a small production, just for a monastery, and after we begin to develop the cheese, more the Swiss cheese. All began in 1912. The monks have a necessity to quit France to arrive in Canada to found a monastery. At the start, it's just a few months. I think it's 4 months. And he arrived at Austin, and they decide to buy the farm to establish a community. And after a few years, the community of Saint-Vendré, community of Saint-Benoît-du-Lac, decided we close Saint-Benoît-du-Lac and we take all the monks and we return in France. I'm 26 years old. Yes, yesterday. yes, was my birthday.
The order was established in Quebec after the French government stripped religious institutions of their property in 1901. After some tragic events, the foundations were finally laid. But it wasn't until 1943 that the monks began making cheese for sale to the public.
So this room is the blue cave. We call it the blue cave. And you can see like there is a blue cheese right there that's almost a week old. And this one you can see is a 5-week old.
Yeah. And that's all the mold on the outside just growing, yeah?
Yeah,
so
this is all the mold.
Yeah.
And what we do...
Yeah, you can do this, you know. I feel like that. A little marketing tool for you. What do you think?
Yes. I'm not sure if the cheese is really blessed by you.
To find out more about Quebec's used milk cheese, I've travelled to Fromagerie La Moutinière, not far from the border with the USA. Local cheese legend Lucille Giraud has been making cheese for the past 2 decades and has played a pioneering role in Quebec's cheese industry. Using the banner "Sweet like a sheep," the farm is run on healthy, sustainable principles. And the flock of 300 ewes graze contentedly on pastures specially seeded with a mixture of a dozen indigenous plants and grasses. Today, the dairy is well known for its unusual range, in particular natural rind semi-pressed cheeses, which are aged in a purpose-built underground cellar.
So you were the first people in Quebec to make use milk cheese?
Use milk sheep and make cheese in '92. Okay. Now we are maybe 20 producers and maybe 7...
20 producers?
Only.
Wow, that's a lot.
of sheep milk, but small. You know, we have 300 sheep. We milk maybe 100 in summer, 100 in winter. Some people have more sheep, but we buy the milk of 2 other small producers as well.
What's been happening in this part of the world with cheese?
Cheese in Quebec, there has been a lot of development since the last 10 years. People are going back to traditional cheese, making farmstead and artisanal cheese from their flock. There's a lot of new cheesemakers that start producer. Usually they are farmers and they decide to add value to their milk.
Where do you sell most of your cheeses? Through the little shop, or?
We have a small shop on the farm, but most of our cheese is sold at our kiosk at Jean Talon Market.
This is the Jean Talon Market in Montreal, one of the largest farmers' markets in the whole of Quebec. This place is really important because a lot of the produce here is controlled by the unions, and this place allows farmers to work directly with the public and get the full value for their product.
When I finally found Lucille's stall, I was surprised to find the conversation was more about smoking grass than raw milk cheese.
Well, that's what we do with it, actually. We dry it out, let it dry out, and the native community uses it for ritual purposes. You let it dry out, and eventually you burn it. You will see it grows everywhere at the farm. So they called one of the cheeses, this one, by that name. So in English, it would be sweetgrass.
So that's what the Indians did originally?
Yes.
Like a smoking stick? Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, people use it for different reasons. You know, when you move into a new place, you know.
Have a little ceremony. Like,
oui, c'est ça.
So you just,
c'est ça.
So So tell me how you've seen things change over here since you started making goat's cheese all those years ago.
Oh boy, you know, I think second generation is so much better than we were. We began with like basic like cookbook instructions, you know, and we tried out things, and today they benefit from what we've done, plus more knowledge, more cross-seeding from other cultures, and you know, so I think they're very good. And there's some wonderful things happening. This year today we have like 18 cheesemakers all together. It's kind of a cool way to find what's happening in Quebec. Myself, I need to update constantly.
Another great place to find specialist cheeses in Montreal is the Atwater Markets. First opened in 1933, this charming old building was once a train station, but later converted to a fresh food market.
What a fantastic range of cheeses.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I've ever seen so many.
Well, what is fun is we have a very good customer base that are from around the world. So when they walked in and they say, well, you don't have this cheese, you don't have that. So through the years, we've worked with our importers and said, well, I want this cheese from south of France, northern Italy, and so forth. And we try, of course, to work with a lot of the artisanal small cheesemakers, you know, because they're 300 kilometers from downtown Montreal. They can't come every day. So we try and, you know, help those people as much as we can.
The range of imported international cheeses available in Montreal today has undoubtedly contributed to a growing interest in local artisan cheese. One business that has moved from being an importer to local producer is the Fromage Chaput, a small family dairy passionate about producing local cheese from raw milk. I've tried their cheeses in New York and they were really good, so it'll be interesting to see where they're made.
So, tell me, how come you're allowed to make raw milk cheese?
We had to fight for it.
Yeah?
Because actually we had a ban on raw milk in Quebec. The milk had to be exempt of all imperfections and so on. So to do this, we decided, could we do perfect milk? And we tested it in the lab, and the quality of the milk was gained working hand in hand with the farmer.
There's a price to be paid to be able to make raw milk cheese. You have to be very rigorous, very meticulous in everything you do. I think that there'll always be a place for people doing things in a traditional way and trying to keep all the flavor of nature. And that's the passion we have. And we're sure there's a market for that. It's a niche market. It's not something we can sell in large grocery stores and supermarkets. It's not that type of cheese, but it's our cheese. It's extra Chaput cheese. We're looking to make the best cheese for people to enjoy from milk that is perfect. We have cows, we have a wonderful country. Why not use it to 100% with passion?
After visiting Quebec, I now realise that this Canadian province is producing a staggering number of interesting artisan cheeses. And whilst few can claim to have been created by the original French settlers, there's no doubting that a legacy of those times is a Gaelic passion for cheese second to none outside France. I've no doubt we'll be hearing a lot more about them in the future.
Cheese slices! Cheese slices!
Always goat cheese?
Who?
Always with goat's milk?
It's me. Sorry. No.
Ah, hello, come in. It's all right, come in. Do come in. We're just having a little party here.
Well, actually, you know, it's my mother.
Oh.
So she didn't expect that.